I got issue with responsiveness in many aspects of my life, but this one in particular at the moment, and it's doing my head in, to be honest. So let me just.
Well, if we can help you out with one area in your life, building related or not, I will be happy.
Fantastic. That would be very helpful.
Hey, Jeff. Welcome to office hours.
Okay. So this is local church here. It doesn't have any money, so they're asking me to do something for them. And that's because I don't charge, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I come up with this anyway for them, and having issue when it's fine, big, of course, and then when it gets smaller, it all gets pushed to the side for some reason. I can't figure out why. And then as I get down to the mobile thing, the hamburger, which is supposed to appear at here at the iPad size, doesn't show up for some reason.
It looks like it's up at under the 278 pixel mark or whatever that is for true mobile, and it looks like the rest is at tablet size.
Yeah, so that's why I can't figure out, because I think I've got it showing at tablet size, but for some reason I don't. And then all of a sudden when I go, I don't know if this is an issue, but all of a sudden everything starts to get pushed over. I feel like I've done something right, because this all at least stays in line, but I have no idea anywhere else.
Drew, what do you want to look at first? The studio styling?
Yeah, probably. It's actually not that far off. Like what you're seeing is just like one thing's probably a little too wide, so it gives that white line. So yeah, you're actually really close, I think. But this level of responsive, it just gets a little tedious sometimes, and you're just kind of like finding things.
Yeah,
but
well,
we
there's
can look
heaps of
at
good
that
stuff
hamburger
on
menu first if you want.
Okay, cool. So there's heaps of good stuff on the YouTube from, I think, Drew way back in the day, and about percentages and M's and stuff, which I've done. So I think that's why it all of a sudden started looking like something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, what do you want to look at?
Well, the hamburger menu that was showing up, like I forget what it was, like under 275 or whatever, like a very small break point, but you thought it was supposed to show up on the tablet size. Let's just look at that difference, or like look at the tablet size. Maybe we can figure out what's going on.
Okay, direct me.
So if you see you're selected on device all.
Yep.
Right next to it, first click that phone one. Yeah, just click on there. All right, so it shows there, and then see the blue tablet, like 2 over it. Yeah, click on there. Let's see. And that's where it's not showing up, but it should.
Yeah, that's what confused me.
I don't know. It looks like it should show up. I'm not sure. I think one thing I can say about this in general for responsive is, like, at least me personally, it's anyone can do whatever, but like I find I don't use that phone breakpoint all that much. Like pretty much if you set it at tablet breakpoint and below, that's almost always what you want, because the tablet breakpoint in this case is like 768 pixels. And that's, I just end up using that all the time. So I just kind of set that one, and that's where I'll make everything happen, and let everything smaller just works. I'm not sure. Maybe we can look at. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dorian or Josh, if you guys have ideas too, I don't really know why that it looks correct.
Styling wise, yeah. Is there anything maybe not on the hamburger menu? That's cute. Is there anything on the div above maybe that might have styling that's affecting it?
Yeah, that's a good double check there.
Yeah, if you click on the left on the element tree, yeah, right on that div, let's just look at the styles. Check that menu hamburger class. Oh, maybe this is hiding it. So Or is this what we were just looking at?
No, it's different.
That's
No,
a
no.
different one.
So yeah,
Click
check that tablet size. Yeah.
Uh,
Right there is what it is. Yeah, that's what's preventing it.
So
You can
when
hit
it comes
clear
to,
on there if you want, I think, and that should.
so yeah, so this is another thing when it comes to hierarchy. Are you dealing with the containing div or the stuff within it? And is it both?
Well, you don't have to use both, but you could. Like in your case, if you have all that set correctly in both places, it would work. But really, all
Yeah.
you need is the parent, the outer one. So if you hide the parent, it's going to hide everything inside of it. So for something like a hamburger menu, I would often do the parent div. That way, you know, you might have an image and then maybe you want to type the word menu next to it. You can just pop that into the parent div and it just works.
Yeah.
It's a little
Okay.
easier, I think.
Sweet. So I think that's fixed that one. Now, like these two boxes here, I think I've just built them wrong for trying to be responsive. But then it just kind of, how do I, the position row column or whatever, to get these just to file in one after another?
Yeah.
Would be,
Let's look
is
at how
that
that's
just 'cause-
built because it depends how they are. So let's check the like basically the parent, the most parent container you can give me, probably
the one above this.
yeah,
It
the
looks-
one above that
Well,
location. And then, yeah, go into that class.
we're trying to-
So it's display flex. So usually this will be like a little, it's like a little confusing because actually, can you click on see locations? That's a text. It's like one element below what you're selected on. It says locations. Yeah, I just want to see. Can you click on that? I want to see what this is.
Just have something at the tablet level.
I was just looking at actually because the outer container is flex, which is going to put stuff side by side, but then it's got that heading there, which is not side by side. I was going to try to figure
That's
out.
what was throwing me off. I don't,
Oh, it's position absolute. That's why.
okay, gotcha.
Okay. So really, one thing, so there's a couple of things like you might want to not make that position absolute, but at the same time, if it works, you know, maybe not mess with it right now. Because you wouldn't like position absolute could get you in trouble maybe in different scenarios as you do different responsive. You'll see it if it happens.
Well, that's what happened at the beginning. I had a total light bulb moment at
Yeah.
like 3 o'clock the other morning and getting absolute way too much.
Yeah. Common, actually, it's a very common thing. Like when you first start, that's how you think to control things. And then as you learn more, especially once you try to do responsive, you realize it makes it a lot trickier.
Yeah. Absolute's pretty rare. It's not, I don't want to say like very, very rare, but like unless you're doing something super specific, you probably shouldn't be using absolute positioning in most circumstances.
Okay, so then how would I get it so that the text is in the center and then the boxes are side by side on a big view, but then when it shrinks down, it all files in?
So I think you could do this part first before we worry about the absolute. It's good to know about the absolute position, but I say like forgetting that a second, you should be able to switch the flex direction of this and it'll change. Instead of going side by side, it'll put those two blocks vertical on top of each other. It's with a property called flex direction. So on location, yeah, that top one, because this is display flex, that means you're gonna have like other properties that you can use. Oh, I saw it on there actually. There was flex direction on there. The default is like the side by side, left to right. So what you can do is add a breakpoint, and I would use a tablet breakpoint, but you can use whatever size you want. At a breakpoint, you switch flex direction to column, and it'll go. And basically, you're saying switch it from a side by side layout to a vertical column layout.
Okay.
And that should do it as far as that. And if the position absolute heading still looks good, you don't even have to change that if you don't want to.
So
You may want to double check where you have it on the mobile setting because you might be re-overriding it on the mobile.
Oh, right. Well, the mobile, I don't know what size you're at on that
It's unclarified, so it shouldn't matter.
on that inspector. But yeah, you can actually select iPhone and you'll get like a mobile size. And actually it might be bigger than that mobile breakpoint on there. I don't know.
on this, you mean?
Yeah. Like if I want to do like see what it looks like on mobile phone, I'll select that Pro. And I don't know, it looks like that didn't work. Unless
Is
we
it because does
refresh.
it actually live preview when you're in responsive mode, or do you have to refresh it all the time?
It does, but some things are not as some things don't always live preview correctly, especially like media queries and like very specific style things sometimes don't pick up. That's usually what's going on, but it looks like it didn't work. I'm not even super like if anyone else sees if I'm doing something wrong with Flex, let me know because I'm not super familiar with Flex even.
Can you
Yeah,
do
check back on
Flex?
that.
Can you hit flex down there too? Just
Yeah.
I don't think that's
This-
gonna make. But
This one?
no, what you just clicked is what.
Oh yeah. I just saw that wasn't.
It should be doing it. What's the width of? That shouldn't make a difference.
Look at
Actually.
the text, like, is there anything on the,
Do you have-
child that are
I
override?
bet that on those location that one that you're on location right there. I bet there's actually a width there. That might be what it is. Oh, this looks like it's position absolute, maybe. Yeah, click in there.
Oh, yeah, that would be causing more of this.
Okay,
that's
so
position absolute.
my
So-
problem is hanging on.
Yeah. So the stuff with Flexbox, it doesn't even apply at all if something's position absolute. It's just totally ignoring all of that. So that's what's going on there.
Okay, so if I went through and deleted all the absolutes, it will.
You can switch the absolute to relative if you want, which is it's almost the same as removing it. So you can either switch position relative or just remove it and just see what it does. And if it looks too crazy, just put it back and go from there. But it might just work well, maybe not.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah, it's because you have all your sizing being positioned off percentages of something that maybe it's not listening to anymore.
It's probably the containers, like it's not listening to. There's a lot of it gets tricky with this level of responsive, but also just CSS in general, because all these divs all these elements are affecting each other. They're all affecting their children. And
Okay, so I should start at location, get everything sorted, and start from the top down, and kind of rebuild that panel.
Yeah, and what if you're gonna start over, I would actually recommend there's an element called columns 2. There's an element where for like columns 2, columns 3, columns 4, and maybe a few other ones. If you drop that on, it's gonna give you a little hierarchy of like an outer parent div and 2 column divs next to it.
Right.
Whatever you put inside those column divs will be side by side, and then when you shrink to mobile, it'll automatically stack for you. The responsive is built in. So I would recommend that. And then, you can modify it from there if you want to, but if you do it that way, you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and even if you don't end up using that, that's going to show you like, here's how to use responsive the right way with things still not being positioned absolutely, things being positioned appropriately through the CSS, and then responsively move around based off of that screen. And then in that case too, you're probably pulling up your location's title out of the columns, like that sits above it in the tree in its own, just not inside of that columns div.
Okay.
Generally, I think in most of the cases we just looked at, absolute position is not your friend. So
I just love how Josh is trying really hard not to laugh when he sees stuff. But he's got like a little smirk on his face, like, oh, you knew.
Office hours a year ago, it's probably the exact same thing. These two.
You're doing
cool.
great, Chris.
I appreciate your help.
Yeah,
Cool.
for sure. Okay.
Steve.
Hey, Edmund, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How's everyone doing?
Good. It's good to see you in office hours.
Oh, yes. I need to be here. So I'm sorry, but like I'm literally gonna slow everyone down because I'm starting back up in Builder again, and like I'm learning my fundamentals. So excuse me if I ask very, very simple questions. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm on a nonprofit board for an organization. We're doing an event, which is a wine event. Actually, I'm wearing the t-shirt. It's wine over water. Anyways, I have, for good or bad, I have raised my hand to help them reduce printing programs and to build, a web app. Okay. And essentially this web app is for the wine event. So it should have user login. It should have a database of wines and like characteristics about them. And then one other feature that I want to add is letting users add notes when they like visit wines and stuff like that. And so I have a couple questions to make sure that like I'm on the right track. I tried asking ChatGPT, but like it wasn't like perfect. So can I start with my first question?
Mhm.
Okay. So regarding the database, what would really be simple for me is being able to capture all the information from our vendors with like a Google form, Google Sheet, and then bring it into Builder. That's pretty easy because of the CSV import, right?
Yeah, or maybe, I don't know if there's an API. There might be other easy ways, but generally, yeah, I think that would be pretty easy to do. And it's
Okay.
also easy to make a form in Builder potentially too, where the data would just, you don't even have to import it from anywhere, it would just be in Builder. Something like a Google Forms, that's got a lot of stuff out of the box you wouldn't have to build. So that's also like a totally viable method.
No, I like that. I could make the form so if I made the form in Builder, it would be like a separate page, and then I just send that link to people who want to submit stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
If you want it into the builder data collection directly, I would do that personally, for sure. If you rather have it in like a Google database somewhere, that's fine too. Then that, but like if you want it in your builder data collection, which you're going to use in your pages, it sounds like,
Yeah.
I would go that route.
Should I then think about essentially if I'm doing, so we're going to have customers who buy tickets to attend the event, but then I should create another type of user, which are like vendors who submit their stuff for the event. Oh, I didn't think about this. Okay. Create.
So, Edmund, what's the intention of the app? Is it to manage the event, or is it for the users of the event to be able to keep track of the notes of the different wines that they like, what they don't like? Who is the app for?
The app is for the users. Well, the primary target are their users visiting the event. So we want to basically replace that program that we spend thousands printing every year and people throw it away, like, they use it once. We're trying to reduce our costs and really be like sustainable. So it's that target demographic. The feature of letting people take notes is kind of like just a minimum nice thing to have. But then yeah, that's it. That's the target.
Okay, then if I may, I would stick to focusing on that, because you can definitely do all the other stuff too. I don't know what your time frame is, but if you wanted to just focus on phase one, it would be creating the front facing and back part of managing just the users, having them be able to sign up and then be able to access whatever wines are available to them, and then make notes against them. And then you could, I think, come back in and do the management aspect of like creating a different login for your vendors. Would you guys piecemeal it too, or do you want to, what is your time frame, Edmund?
My time frame. So truthfully, I don't have to have this. I mean, if I want to, like, having this ready would be the middle to end of June, but I'd really like to like build the portion for target customers in 2 weeks. I'm very sure I can do it. I'm just asking these questions to make sure that like I'm going about it the right way.
Yeah. That's
okay.
it. And I think you can definitely do the front part of it, and doing it in Builder would be easy. So what would be the structure, you guys? Could we give Edmund some guidance on like, here's probably the different pages that you'll need, and then here's the different data collections you may need, just based on the part for the
make some suggestions. I think I guess like I don't know fully how like the difference between the users and the vendors, how important that would be if you're gonna try to fit that in. But everything that you want to track is going to need to be a data collection. So, the more complex, the more collections you're going to need to make. And then there's, the ways to relate those collections. We can talk about that too. It's kind of a key concept.
Okay, so the main data collection will really involve like the wines and the users. When we talked about the vendors just now, it was really for simplicity's sake that it made sense. So if I went forward with that level of complexity, there's basically the wines, there's the users attending the event, and those talk to each other because you're taking notes and adding it to like a wine in your account. But then the wines themselves are populated, if I use the form with the vendors, by the vendors.
Yep.
So, and so it's for efficiency. Okay. Second question is, okay. So I know that once I go through enough of the builder lessons, like I don't necessarily need to build it from scratch, and I could use a template. I looked at the templates, and even though it was tempting to use a ready-made template with, sign in and what it looks good and whatever, I went ahead and I started using the starter UI kit. And my quick question is, like, the starter UI kit consists of like 3 different, what do you call them? Hold on, 3 different, let me see what it's, where is it?
Got like 3 different screens, right? Isn't there like a,
Yeah, there's
like
the
a little item list, isn't it?
Yeah, there's the CRUD flow, the design system, and then the sign up / login flow. My quick question here is just like, can someone just quickly run through and just tell me like what each, like I know what the sign up login flow is, but in this UI kit, like what am I like, how will I put it? Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know how to ask this question. Like the UI kit has instructions in different like parts of it. So like that's literally everything I need. But my question is the CRUD flow, the design system, and the sign up login flow. How should I be thinking about those as I build this app?
I'm not like super familiar with that template, to be honest.
Okay.
But when you first started talking about templates, like what you're building, those Mullen templates that are in there have a lot of that hooked up for you. So that's basically, that gives you a website with a sign in. If they sign in, it takes them to an app, and the app is just like a really basic CRUD. And the thought behind that template is that you get that whole system, which is kind of universal, but then it's not dictating you too much and trying to confuse you too much past that. So you can essentially use that example of the CRUD to build out, maybe that's your first list of wines, and then it shows you how they're connected to users, and there's like things in there that you can learn from without it being like too much. Some of the some of the other templates are like awesome for what they are, but they're very complex. So I feel like that can throw people off too. It kind of depends what your preference is, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, because I was really tempted about it, and from what you're saying, like I can start with one of the Mullen templates, and then I add what I need to like customize it.
Yeah, or change it. You know what I mean? Like it's already going to have some data collections in there, I'm guessing, right?
It's got a simple setup. It's got basically, one collection that's a main collection, and then one collection that's a related collection. And so you can see how that works, because there's a little bit of technique in there, but it's not overwhelming, I don't think.
So you could follow us, you can mirror that same setup, Eggman, and you can just change the names of the existing data collections to use the existing setup. You know what I mean?
That honestly, that's exactly what I thought, but I was like, maybe there's something I missed. Okay.
No. The UI starter kit is a little bit harder because that's more of like if you know the structure of what you want to build, but you just want the UI kit and you don't want to have to design everything. So that will kind of get you more on the styling side. But if you want functionality, start with the Mullen or the SAS starter.
Okay, the Mullen or the
There's Mullen
okay.
Light and there's Mullen Dark.
I think
Dark,
even
yeah.
SAS starter is too complex to start with for your
Yeah.
use case. I feel like the Mullen Light or the Mullen Dark, you know,
Okay.
you can change the design anyway. That's just a difference in the design color.
Mhm.
Guys, that's it. Thank you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, stick a fork in it. I'm done.
Start there. You're good, Edmund. And like we're doing this every week. So we're no beginners questions or shyness or anything like that. Like that's you start from where you are, always.
Yeah, and
Thank
one thing to not forget is use that duplicate page feature. Like take that items page. I would actually, if I were me, I would leave what's in the Mullen all intact, so you can
Mhm.
always reference it. And I would duplicate those pages and create new collections.
Got it.
If something breaks or you made a change, you can always go back to the original collection, and
Perfect.
that one works.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. This was really, really great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome, Edmund. All right, so let's keep going. Phantom, I want to call you up because you've got something you'd like to troubleshoot. And then it looks like after that, we've got something potentially for John. And okay, we can go to Mika's question, and then we've got pro office hours. So we can definitely do John there. So yeah. Do you want to walk us through your project and let us know what roadblock you're
Sure.
hitting?
Sure. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, it's very nice to meet you. It's my first time here. I'm just starting with Builder and I like it a lot so far. I am trying to build some tools for NFT collection. And let me share my screen. I don't know. How do I do that? Damn it.
Sometimes Zoom will have to close out and give permission and then jump back on.
You mean close entire Zoom thing, or?
Yes, sometimes it'll make you do that to share your
okay.
screen.
Because all I see is are warning signs for all the things I have opened. It won't let me share anything. But basically, my questions are more for like I ask the questions in Discord about API calls.
Mhm.
So I think I have there is a problem with this cross-origin thing when I call an API as client-side API. I am getting some errors, and when I call them as a server-side API call, it works correctly. That's the first thing. I have no idea why it. Why it's breaking when it's called as a client side from the browser.
Guys, we for sure need to see this one.
There's certain API calls are set up, they force a failure if it's client side, I think. So I don't know about this case, but there's definitely times that whatever API you're using, they just won't allow it to work client side. So it sounds like maybe that's it. If all you're doing is changing the dropdown from server to client side, that would be why probably.
So okay, if that works as a server side, it's so shall I use that option in this case basically, and that's it? Because what I was wondering if that is counting towards my quota for API calls server side, right?
It would be, yeah, if it was on the server side. But again, it might be like there's the required structure for that tool that you're using there. Or to keep a secret safe, obviously, that's when you'll want to use the server side. But it would count against your account on the server side.
Phantom, do you know what's the tool, or could we look at their documentation to see?
It's basically the API, the Twitter, the Twitter API call. I would love to share my screen, but I think I need to close the entire Zoom thing, reconnect, and
Yeah, and
maybe.
then jump back in. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
So-
try that. And then while Phantom is jumping out and then jumping back in, did anyone else have anything else that they wanted covered or had any questions on today? If I'm looking here, it looks like
Jeff has a length issue with getting the length of a number of rows in a grid row for some reason.
Mika has a question regarding making select menus searchable. And then Scott, you guys have a bug that you'd like to get some input on. Is that everything that we have left? I think. Okay. All right. So yeah, Jeff, we can chat with you after we end, or do you know if it's a relatively quick thing while we wait for Phantom to get back on? We can try.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets back on,
Yeah.
I'll jump off.
Let's see. Come on, Jeff.
Okay, here's what I'm doing. I've got this grid row, grid list, and value length. And then when I run it, I just get null every time.
It's probably because the grid is not there yet. Go back and
Okay.
instead of doing value, because value is reading from the actual rows that are being rendered in JavaScript, change
Okay.
that to data. So it just uses the data that was initially set.
Dun, dun, dun.
Still
No,
getting
still
null.
no. And then it's pulling it from that grid that we see there on the right, right?
Right.
Go back to it. Let me see the setup.
And then Phantom, I see you back on the call.
Oh.
No, you're good, Jeff. Whenever you're ready, he might still be getting ready. We'll
And that
see.
is the element student filter list.
It is.
Yeah, everything looks correct. That's weird. Yeah, I think this one we'll need to inspect it in the preview and do a path to see.
Jeff, this is the setup we did the other day, right?
Right.
An alternative option you might have. So go to filter data set by
Yeah, just grab it from the variable.
yeah.
Instead of the grid.
If we've passed it through a variable the whole time and there's an up-to-date variable with the array
Click
of,
on that one,
we could just target that.
copy that variable,
Okay.
and just use that instead of the element. Because right now it's like it's setting it into element. You're waiting for that. Just grab it from the source. Hit enter to add the
On
path.
that path.
You need to-
It didn't. It doesn't add it.
there you go.
Classic gotcha.
There you go. This will do it though, because now it's the true source now.
Yeah.
Still no. Then it's either not being
Okay.
set on the right element.
I'll play with that a little bit. This gives me somewhere to go. So thank
Yeah,
you.
but that's a better method. So I'm glad I
Okay.
just brought that up, because it's
Yeah.
like you already have the data there in that variable. Just use it. Don't set it.
Just
into
count
the
from
variable
there.
and read it. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
It really is the same thing. It's like an array of data that happens to be appearing on the page or an array of data stored in a variable. It's the same thing.
Hey, Phantom. Welcome
Okay,
back.
I'm back, but I'm not sure if it works. Okay, let's see.
Share screen.
Okay, now it wants me to quit and reopen again. Sorry.
That's okay. We were able to answer a question while
Okay.
we waited, so we're good. We're good. Okay, Josh, are you answering the select menus question?
Trying.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. What is it?
Um,
Select menus?
End up typing a lot and I don't know if it'll make sense in text, but
Okay.
Yeah. Might be a cool little block to have.
yeah. I mean, ironically, it's just what Jeff just did and showed us briefly is similar. It's using repeating list instead of as its own select element to use as filters, either a single select filter or a multi-select filter for more advanced filtering. Is kind of what I think this is getting at.
Yeah.
All right, great success.
Is
We
it
are
there?
seeing phantom
Okay.
screen.
Perfect. Okay, so there is this NFT collection called Psychedelics Anonymous, and what they introduced is the possibility to change the metadata of the NFTs. So basically, you can customize them to your liking, like changing some of the traits. In the future, it will be possible to buy additional traits to put them on the NFT and so on. So I thought that I will build some tools, and basically I'm exploring all the possibilities to connect to different APIs to get collection data, to get to Twitter to get some screenshots of before and after pictures if someone decides to change the traits on the NFT. I'd like to show before and after pictures and this kind of stuff. So basically, nothing is finished. It's more like a playground at the moment. What I figured out and what was really exciting to me was the possibility to connect the wallet, display NFTs in the wallet that works. That works with no problems. I can load what I have in my wallet, for example, here. And here on this tab, I wanted to create the tool which would check if the particular NFT was already changed in the new DOM. New DOM is the tool they introduced to play with those NFTs. Where I can put ID of a piece, and if it was changed in the new DOM, it would show me the OG picture and the picture of the new one. And it worked perfectly until, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, where they probably changed something in their infrastructure, and I can no longer get the picture of the changed piece. But the first question I asked in Discord about taking a picture of basically a screenshot of a certain area of the website. So I had one picture on the left, one picture on the right. They are both nested in the div, and I wanted to take a screenshot of the div and tweet it with the user credentials. So basically, the user who is logged in the application could tweet the before and after pictures. So for now, I'm not concerned about the after picture. I need to figure out if it will be even possible to get it. But now I'm playing with those Twitter Connect thing and getting user information to play with Twitter API. So I took the sign in with Twitter action from Builder, and it works. It stores the token with this Auth thing, authentication and stuff. But when I want to get the user data, it will basically show nothing, and I have no idea what is going on. Now I have this API call set to client-side API call, so it won't work. But if I will change it, if I will change it here. To server side, it will probably work.
You weren't, or you were using a secret in this? I saw a bearer token in a long string.
I am using, yeah, it's hard-coded thing.
So, gotcha. Well, that shouldn't be sent to the client side anyways, so that would probably not be advisable to have in the, how to even like send it client side at all.
Yeah, if I
Mhm.
remember right, I'm pretty sure Twitter doesn't allow it. And I think that's why it's not returning anything. We'd have to go read through their docs. It's been a while since I've used those actions, but I think that's why they're initially all client side. I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
because
server.
with those actions sign in step 1, I am using those things stored in secrets.
Yeah, because all that goes through the server side.
The step 2 is the same.
Mhm.
And then I have this get Twitter user info, where I wanted to use the action from also provided by Builder.
Yeah.
This one, it takes those things from the secret section, but this one won't work. It does in all it shows. It's in this one. It's this information, I think. It gives null.
And is there a page header? I know that those come with a page header. Do we know if that page header is on that page? Go to click on the project name at the top left. And then go to page headers. And click on that.
Which one? The Twitter?
The first one, yeah. No, so it's on all pages, so it is there. And the user's already signed in, right? They signed in with the Twitter.
Yes, I can also run this action again.
Yeah, let's run through. Let's make sure all that validates. Because I know those tokens expire.
Yeah, they do, but
So right now I should have a fresh one.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it just goes no. Yeah, I think we'll need to debug that one to see why that's not returning anything. In the console, can you type await and then put a space, and then it's a B API, so Boppy for the builder API. That second one. Yeah, and then .auth. And then .get user info. Yeah, select that and then open and close parentheses because it's a function. And then press enter. Yeah, the user's not signed in, that's why. Are you not running step 2?
I'm running both, I think.
Because it gets redirected, but I think step 2 is either failing or it's not running because it's not actually creating the session. So that's why the get info fails.
So I'm going on click with sign in step 1.
Yeah.
And then on success, I'm going to step 2.
I see, yeah. So that's not going to run step 2. And the reason is those flows here are more like if you just want to show a message or something to the user that says, redirecting or something. What you have to do is, because when you click that, it actually redirects to Twitter, and then Twitter bounces you back. So on page load, you need to do a condition where if you have that OAuth token as a query string, then run step 2. But
okay, so so it's not even going just after step
yeah,
1.
and nothing you can do to just add another button for now and just bind step 2 to that button just so we can test it.
Okay, so shall I remove this one?
Yeah,
from,
you can remove it. Those, yeah, I think those probably need the description updated because that is confusing. So yeah, duplicate that button and then let's add.
you mean the sign in button?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then for this one, let's set step 2. That's the last one in the list, I think. Oh. You can just click outside of the lightbox to close it because you already have
that bug. You can't close this.
Ah,
Just create it for me. Yeah. Sorry.
the X is gone. So close out of that right panel. So we go back to the elements. Yeah. And then go to the click event on the right side. Yeah. And select the last flow. Sign in with Twitter step 2. And then now let's go to the preview and try it.
All right. So.
And normally you can automate that by just checking if you have that OAuth query string value, then you can automatically run step 2 in the background. So just click the second button because we still have that token. And then now do the get info. Let's see if it still throws that. Let's see. I think the previous one threw an error. Right?
Yeah.
Do it from the beginning because I know those tokens are one-time use. Twitter's really picky about that stuff.
Okay, so sign in.
And
Does he have a
Something went wrong even for the first one, I think.
Yeah, maybe the button order's like not correct. Can we rename one of those so we know which one?
Okay.
Hey, Dorian, I just did a look at the Twitter thing. In order to read tweets, you have to have a paid account. If you want to write tweets, you can do it for free.
Yeah, I think that action is just getting the info. So
yeah, if you want to do any reading of any data, if you want to read data from Twitter, you have to have a paid account.
Gotcha. So maybe that's why it's not working. So I know Twitter's been making a lot of changes to all that stuff.
Yeah, I put it into the chat if you guys want to see.
Oh yeah, I am seeing that spot.
Yeah.
So what's the thing actually again?
Yeah, it looks like Twitter made changes and they don't let you get any info anymore unless you have a paid Twitter account.
Okay.
Oh, I see. They're trying to make back that money because no one's buying the verified check marks.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. Elon, thank you.
Okay, so you think that's just that?
It could be that, I'm not sure. But
I mean, you still
said
need
it
to do
works
this,
when
though.
you do it server side, right?
Okay, because okay, I'm lost. This is the sign in with Twitter, the first one. Step 1. This is step 2. Okay, but I wanted to change the.
Yeah, remove that one because I don't know if that button assigns a special binding from the JavaScript. Just duplicate that tweet band-aid. Yeah, delete the second one because I think it's taking over I think the header is replacing the on-click event and targeting that sign-in with the sign-in regardless. So add a new button, just a regular button. Yeah, right there. And then let's go to the events on that and tie that step too. And we can see, because it should show us in the network if there's an error or something. But we'll see. It might not even work if they locked it down to paid accounts now.
What is this error now here? It's something else, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something else.
Okay, so now I'm signing in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it's just weird why it did not work. Because that was working a second ago.
It was working, yeah.
The only thing we changed there was we removed the success flow, right?
Yeah, and that's the only thing. Flows. Step 1, and I removed this one, flow on success.
Just add it back in, even though it's not going to do anything. But I wonder if it's like checking to make sure there's a flow or something. Doesn't make sense though.
No, it's the same.
Yeah, it returns to 500. Can you remove the OAuth query string at the top?
Yeah, was it maybe just doing this the whole time?
I think so.
Yeah.
Press enter so it starts fresh. So it might be reading that and think, oh, it's already there.
Ah, okay, yeah. No.
No, still. Expand that error in that console. Error first, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what changed. Yeah, I think this one I'll need to go review it outside of it and see what's happening, because I'll need to step into the functions and see what's throwing.
Okay, so what shall I do?
I think you'll just need to send me like that preview link. You said you're in Discord, right? If you can send me a DM with that URL, and then I can just leave the config how you have it.
Okay.
That way I can just go on the preview and just click those buttons to see if I can figure out what's throwing an error. And then I'll get back to you because.
Okay, cool. Because in the first thing I thought that after you added the new version of this API stuff, API calls, because before you had two actions, either server side or client side, and now they are consolidated in one. I thought that maybe that there is something that is messed up, but
we put that through quite a few tests. I don't think that would be the case. I don't want to say there's a 0% chance possibility, but I don't believe that would be making a difference.
No, but I was that was my impression, because that was the first time I saw those course issues. I thought I haven't seen them before, and then
That'll be something. Can we've already got Cora already put a reminder in for us to look at it, so we can take a look at that more closely too.
Yep. Okay, so I think so leave it with us, Phantom. Dorian, if you'll just remember to send Dorian a DM.
Yeah, I will do that immediately.
Okay, with your project ID and information, just steps on how he can repeat it, and then we'll take a look at it and get back to you. Is there other stuff you can work on while we check this out in the next few business days?
Yeah, I think so. Because I have just some ideas, and now it's just a playground. I have a bunch of buttons, things, and I'm playing with those APIs to see what I can really get. And then when I have everything, then I will organize it somehow. But
Sounds like you're right on track then.
Something to throw out there from an expedited support standpoint is probably next week we'll be adding in chat support in app for all paid projects inside of Builder. And so especially for projects where it's like, hey, it's important to get chat support maybe a little bit more frequently. Obviously we'll still do community office hours. We're still available in the Discord as much as we possibly can be, but especially stuff like this, if you're like, hey, this is like a project I'm really focused on, having it as a paid project will get you access to chat support that will help expedite and help us prioritize those things a little faster too. So just a heads up on that for everyone on this call.
Cool. Okay.
But I can also make a recommendation. Phantom, you might want to try using Postman when you're developing your API, because it lets you test everything really easily. And then once it's in Postman, you have the calls working properly. You just transfer over the variables into an API call in Builder. So
Okay.
it's really, really easy.
Okay, I
Postman
must say I wanted to do that. As when I went through the docs on Twitter, they have this package for Postman, right? But I couldn't get it to work. Like I don't know. Probably I need to go through the documentation of the Postman itself first and learn the tool, because it's not like some simple form to put the credentials and test the endpoints, but it's a little bit more complicated.
There's usually good YouTube videos that'll walk you through how to set up common APIs.
Awesome.
Okay.
If anyone happens to come across a really good beginner one, send it to Phantom maybe. Okay, everyone. So that does bring us to time for today. We
Thank
are
you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. We thank you everyone who made this a great call. We're going to switch over to do pro office hours, and Josh is going to host that call. So we will see you next week. I will try and upload this as soon as I can so we all can do some replays. Thank you and have a great week. Thanks, Dorian. Thank you, Josh, Andrew. Bye, everyone.
I got